welcome to the Cancer Joy Club. I am Jasmine Fontes, and Grace Fraga will join us shortly. For those of us that tuned in last time, hey, look, I have an empty bookshelf. We're moving in slow and steady, but today we are talking about surgery. Surgeries happen all the time. I had seven last year. Grace had a bunch too, but it's a big part of it. So you know what? Let's bring Grace on. Let's talk about it.
Hello.
We're both gray today.
I know. That reads to me more like platinum blonde,
Yeah.
but we're both gray. You have hair. I wore this when I didn't have any hair, and I love it because it says believe with the breast cancer little ribbon. So I wore this all throughout my chemo, and I loved it. This was my favorite hat. That's why I'm wearing it today.
Keep it beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
so good. We'll have beanies available eventually, guys, and we'll have stuff like that. So just
Yes.
taking a look through. Well, surgeries, Grace, I had last year multiple surgeries. If we're talking like biopsies and everything too, seven.
Yeah.
I had seven surgeries last year.
Isn't that insane? Like before cancer, it's like I did not have surgery since age 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
like two. My appendix at age 5, and I think at 3, the tonsils, they took them out. That was it.
Yeah. I had my wisdom teeth taken out when I was in my late teens, I think. And then I actually had my tonsils taken out as an adult. So, friends, raise your hand if you had your tonsils taken out as a grown person, because oh my gosh, the recovery is terrible. Uh,
Yes.
it's like a week long of just like suffering. I sneezed at one point and thought I was going to die.
Oh no.
It's all good. But yeah, that was my only surgery. I was like, oh, okay, that was my major surgery. I went under, and then fast forward a handful of months, and yeah, just a handful of months, and then it's like, oh, let's go do this thing many
Yeah.
times.
Yes, I know, right?
Yeah.
And like we were talking last time, the best part about the surgeries is we're not going to say the names, but it's the DRUGS,
Mhm.
right? It's like right before, it's like whoa, you feel so good and amazing,
Yeah.
but yeah, it lasts for like 5 seconds tops, and then you're out and you wake up. And I don't know about you, but when I woke up from my first from the mastectomy and reconstruction, which was like 5.5 hour surgery, it was
I was gonna
brutal.
ask. That's a long one because
That is.
you have to have your actual cancer surgeon, and then your reconstruction surgeon comes in. They're not the same surgeon.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. They're together. The two of them were together, and they worked together. And so I woke up and I was like just dry heaving and just completely out of it. Yeah, it was not fun. And I finally, threw out. I felt better, but I had a blackout, complete blackout, because they say that, they gave me a lot of it for 5.5 hours, right? And so when I woke up, I think I told the story, but I'll tell it again a little later. My best friend told me the things I did, and I
Mhm.
have absolutely no recollection. Like you have amnesia. That's what it's about. And I was like, she was telling me what I did. Apparently, I'm very cute, like very fun, and yeah.
Yeah. You tell jokes. Did you do stand up?
No, I didn't. I was like, like my inner child came up. It was very. She said it was so sweet. Like it was like she was talking to 5-year-old Grace.
She probably was. That's like that inner work when you come that they can come out and be like, I'm safe. I'm here. Hello. Hello.
Yes, and she's one of my safe
Yeah.
places, so I trust her with my life. So I'm sure I was like just very playful and fun, but I have zero recollection of it.
I'm trying to think. I went under a couple of times to full unconsciousness twice. The other times you mentioned with like the port procedure, you fell asleep or like knocked out. I
Yeah.
was a chatterbox. I was just like, okay, doctor, tell me what you're doing. What a weird thing to do. Like like doctors like, why is my patient talking to me? Like, give her more drugs. I mean,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You said it fast.
But I remember waking up after my first one. Um, and it was just it was such a surreal experience of like I was like, oh, I'm here, okay, okay. And then I asked the person, I was like, how long have I been here? And the nurse goes, 5 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, great.
Ah,
I popped right back after the first one. And I just remember thanking everyone and talking to them, being like, remembered everyone's names, which was very interesting. But it was like a thing that I did to keep myself sane while I was like laying in the bed where I was like, you
mhm.
and you, and I knew their names. Oh my gosh, yeah, but it was very strange. Because then time didn't make any sense. As soon as I woke up, time was like non-linear.
It's true. It's almost like you're in another dimension.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
might actually like
right.
dimension travel. Like when you sleep, you do that too.
Astro
It's called astral projection or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah,
I
exactly.
think we do like even like higher like stratospheres of dimensions because it's
This is
like
why people do plant medicine. I mean, I haven't done it, so I can't speak to it, but like I've heard practitioners and people who have just explored that space. They're like, "Yep, you go different places." I'm like, "Oh, so that makes sense. We might have." Because when I came back, my sense of time, I knew I was in the room, I knew where I was, but he's like, "Oh, we have to hold you for another 15 minutes," and it was a blink of an eye. Like
yeah.
I had no. I was like, "Oh, wait, it's been 15 minutes. I feel like it's been two." Like,
And vice versa. I remember when I got out of my port surgery, they only gave me they knocked me out. They didn't give me anesthesia, like I'm not going to say names, but
right.
like DAVIN or the
Right.
F1, right?
Mhm.
So they probably gave me that. And so it was a whole different experience with that. When I woke up as they were rolling me out of the OR,
Okay.
and I was like, "Oh, I'm awake. Look at me," And then they put me, in that waiting room right before
Yeah.
they sent you to the room,
Okay.
and it took forever. I was like, "When am I going to go? When am I going to go?" To me, that time, and it probably wasn't a long time, but it felt
Right.
forever. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to be out of there. But again, not for the surgery, the big surgery, because I think I was more drugged than,
Oh, I
yeah.
did.
So like you, it's like you lose sense of time and I
Yeah.
went kind of in and out.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
didn't wake. Like I have no. Maybe I did wake up at some point, but I have no memory of waking up before talking to the nurse and being like, "Hi, how long have I been here?" Like I woke up and was like, "Hello, I'm Jasmine. Who are you? How long have I been here?" Like, very
very
like
professional. I love that.
of it. I was like, "I need the information right now because I need to process what's happening."
Yeah,
That's
that
very.
is so funny.
But I don't remember. I don't. So my when I had my tonsils out, I was so nervous. I don't do well with any of that stuff. At least I didn't, and now I I don't know if I do well. Let's not explore or have another surgery. Let's just not do it. I don't want to find
Yes,
out. But the anesthesiologist was so sweet. I'm like shaking and crying as I'm talking to them, and I was like, I'm not crying because of you. I just like I can't control it. This is just
I
happening.
know.
And she's like, "Oh, that's okay, sweetie. You got this. Here, you know what?"
Oh,
And I was asleep before I made it to the room. So when I got there into these surgeries, I fully anticipated being unconscious by the time I hit the OR. And when they've rolled me in, and I was like, wait, I'm still awake. What's happening? I'm still, am I supposed to be asleep? And they roll me into the room and they're like, oh no, you have to get onto the table. Like they made me. I was like, I have to electively get onto this table, and I know what you're gonna do. I don't want to get on the table.
oh my God, they made you get it. What?
Yeah, so they rolled me into the room, and then they lowered the thing, the little arm, and they're like, okay, can you hop on over? And I was like, I have to
No.
sit. Can
Can I
you
go
please?
home?
Unconscious. I mean, I get it. It's probably a lot safer than moving a dead weight body, having like four people have to lift me and slide me over. But I tell you, my body has a memory. It's like PTSD memory because the
Yeah,
next time I went in to do it, I immediately was like, no,
I'm
no,
not doing
I
this.
don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Wow.
But I got on the table and I was like, okay, okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
I know. Do you talk to yourself like, it's okay, it's okay? I do that all the time. Like, you're gonna be
Constant.
okay. It's okay. Don't worry. You got this.
And everyone was so, that's the thing, everyone was so sweet. And for them, it's not like I'm a number or we're a number, but it is their job and they're professional. And they're like, yeah, hop onto the table and then we'll take care of the rest. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but what is the rest? And I'm like, I'm not going to medical school. I don't need to learn this. Like,
No, thanks.
no,
No, no, absolutely not. But
no.
yeah, it's very traumatic. The surgery day, I remember, I don't know if I probably tell the stories, it's not chemo brain. I'm sure like I forget what I say because we all do, right? Like what we talk about. But I think I told the story, but like when I came out of the OR for the big surgery, the
Mm,
5.5 hour, I had a like a spiritual experience where I wake up and I didn't even know because I had not had surgery since I was 5 years old. So I didn't know that they put you in a room afterwards, after surgery, before they take you to the room. So I was like um, laying there, right, dry heaving, and the nurse, and I think I told the story, but I'll tell it again for those who tune in for the first time. So the nurse comes, I'm like this, and she goes like here, I see her face, and she goes, we're the same age. And I'm like, okay. I was like dry heaving. And
like,
then she comes back and she goes, I know it was so weird. And she comes back and she says, um, you have beautiful eyes. And so I was like, okay, those are two kind of weird things to say, right? That I remember because I'm sure she said many other things, but
yeah.
those two things stuck. And when we're in those states of being with the drugs and going into like other dimensions and stuff and traveling, I think that I remembered those two things because this is how I interpreted it later. I felt, first of all, I felt when I came out like I was a different version of myself. I immediately felt like I was different, like something had changed. Obviously, they took my whole breast out, but besides the physical
Right.
obvious part, I felt like I was just a completely different version of myself. And so later I interpreted when she said we're the same age, she was telling me you're still the same age. Your soul is still, you're still you, right? In
Right.
this new version of yourself. And when she said you had beautiful eyes, it's like you still have the same beautiful soul. Like you're not, you feel different, but you're the same person. That's how I interpreted it. And there's things we don't understand why I interpreted it this way and why it hit me that way and why I remember those two things. But
Mhm.
I know that everything happens for a reason and everything has a reason of being. So I do believe that she was like my angel, she was telling me she was my messenger. Like
Was
you
she real? She was actually a real human
real.
too?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was a total maybe. I don't know. Now I don't know. Now you question that. Thank you, Jazz.
I was like, well, maybe she was, but maybe she was only visible to you, or maybe she was a human that was delivering message, you know?
I think she was a messenger. Like she was
Okay.
delivering because the way she said things, like, and I don't know if it was my state at that point, but the way she said things, it felt like such intent in what she said. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh, girl, we're the same age, and there was intent in what she said, and I think that's why it stuck with me because of the intent. Because when people talk stupid stuff, like you kind of forget it and don't. But when they talk something that's meaty or something that resonates with you, you'll remember that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%. So that's, I think she was telling me, you are a different version of yourself.
Mm,
However, still have your same essence and you're still the same.
yeah.
So kind of like, so I wouldn't freak out. But I do feel after I came out of that surgery that all the triggers from my trauma and narcissistic abuse and all that completely changed. Like it was almost like when they took those tumors, because I had like a party of tumors, like tons
Mhm.
of them. When they took all of that, I felt like they took all that trauma because those tumors, I think, were also part of the cause was emotional trauma. And so I think when they took them out, like the trauma was taken out.
I
It was
love,
out. And
yeah.
I know it was crazy, but
We talked about this. Yeah, there when people get those transplants or things like that, there's that energetic memory when you get
Yes.
an eye transplant, a heart transplant of the person that it came from. So you can
Mhm.
either it works with it or figure it out. But that's the same thing that it sounds like happened for you.
Yeah.
All that energy was removed.
Yes.
Amazing. That's
Isn't
absolutely
that crazy? It's
fascinating.
it's fascinating because it was a physical, that was a and I'm pointing on my boob. Sorry, audience, I have to, but that was a
This is
physical
a great
manifestation.
this is a show about boobs, so
Yeah. But and I'm
yeah.
pointing at the right boob. So I think like all of that, like it's a physical manifestation of the trauma. It was for me because I had been, we're not going to get into it, but it makes sense if
Yeah.
you track my life. And definitely it got concentrated there and started to grow. I had a lot of trauma apparently because the tumors were like, girl, party time. So when they took it out, it's not that I don't remember the trauma or I don't, but I don't get triggered the same way. Like I became very conscious of, like, if something bugs me even a little bit, nothing compared to before. Before I was triggered very easily. But now, even if it's a little bit, I'm able to be very objective about it.
You know what? I think similarly. I used to let
Really?
things bother me or, build up or like, frustration. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just a thing that exists. I'm okay.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It puts everything in perspective, like
Really does.
when it start, because we all do that, right? Like if you start stressing about something, I'm like, Grace, you could be DEAD
Yeah.
now. Like 20 years ago with my stage three, I don't know, higher chances I wouldn't have survived.
20 years ago, they wouldn't have known to look for it for me and I'd be gone. Maybe right now.
Right, right,
Literally.
right. That's, doesn't that give us a different perspective?
Yes, it's huge. It's so huge. Although, Grace, I do still enjoy my little car rages when I'm like, drive better.
Oh girl, oh my God, yes, yes. But then I bless them. Oh, you stupid. God bless you, and
Mhm,
drive
mhm.
carefully. Like I flip it, but yes, I totally.
I'm like,
Oh my gosh,
I
yes.
don't know. I'm like, oh, do better. And I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what their day is. I don't know. I don't know. Just breathe. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that's one thing. See, what you're saying is like also your empathy and you're
Yeah.
putting yourself in another person's shoes has become greater than before, where before it was more, I felt for myself, I can only speak for myself, but I see it and what you're saying. Before it was more ego driven,
Mm.
for me, and now it's more like you're saying, like, yes, we are human beings and we're gonna get enraged about stupid stuff in traffic.
Honestly, if it's traffic is kind of a fun thing to get annoyed about. Like
Yeah,
being annoyed can be fun sometimes. So
yeah, because it's
it's letting out
harmless.
the steam. Yeah,
Yeah, and you're
exactly.
not facing the person, you're not ruining their day by
No,
saying ugly
we're not
things. Yeah.
we're not rage driving, following someone to their location. That's insane.
I had some people like do that, like follow me and try and block my car. Oh
Are
yeah.
you serious?
Oh my God,
Um,
yes. This guy did it. I'm not gonna explain like the
right.
situation, but
No.
I parked and he blocked my car. He went right next to me to the point where, the little mirror, he flipped it a little bit. He messed it up. And so I was like, what the hell? And so, you know what I did? And for all those out there, this works. I acted like a crazy, crazy person. Like, listen, you, da, da, da. And I mean, all my acting skills, I just like put them out there. And the guy went like this. I'm not kidding. He looked at me like,
Grace, that is okay. This is just the
I
PSA.
don't know.
Yes, and to your PSA, ladies or humans in general, if you're walking home and you feel like someone's following you, act like the craziest person on the street. They're not going to want to mess with you. They're not going to want to take on that fight because if you look crazy, you might be crazier than them. So, and that will save your life. And I told,
100%.
yeah,
Another thing I remember in New Orleans, this woman taught me, she was like, whenever you feel threatened or like unsafe, just, if you have a hoodie, put it on and act all masculine, like, boo, what's up? Yeah. Like really like gangster.
And
I
I
do
tell
that.
the the safest moment, it's so weird, the dichotomy of diagnosis and treatment and everything. The
Yeah.
safest I've ever felt in this world was after my first treatment, before like before I had before my second treatment, because I my hair had been cut, and I'm
Mhm.
going for a walk, just because it's important to keep your body moving. And
Yes.
this big guy rounds the corner, but I'm
Mhm.
like, I just look like a fucking badass because I'm just like sunglasses, mask, and like no hair, and I'm like, it's showing off my guns, my arms,
Nice.
um, and he rounds the corner and he's all big and everything, and I'm just walking like I don't give a fuck. And he goes, hey, like he like small, like kind of dipped down to like bow in a way and walked past, and I went, oh my gosh, I think I scared him. Yes.
That's amazing.
No one's gonna try and kidnap me. Like no
Yeah.
one's gonna be able to grab my hair and like pull like anything. I was like, I have never been safer in this. Like, what a weird thing.
Isn't it crazy? And as females, when we lose our hair, like both of us had long, gorgeous long hair.
My hair
And
was long.
I know, girl, mine is growing. It's up to here. It's going to grow. Yours is going to grow healthy and beautiful. It's just patience. It's a patience game, honest. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But before, when we had long hair, okay, I'm going to tell you a story. So I was bald and I had some grays because chemo really, I didn't have grays before. If you look at my roots from my blonde,
With the grays and the skin, I'm still
yeah, the
working
skin,
my
yeah.
back.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gonna go away. Trust. If I look, I show you pictures of me when I had like drier skin. It's gonna
Yeah.
come back. Don't worry about that. But I
Okay.
remember this one time I was, just starting back to work, and I went into this building, and the guy at the door was like, "Hey, what's up?" Like always with my short hair, right, with my salt and pepper hair. And one day I had a date after that job. So I went with my blonde wig and like, dressed nice.
Yep.
And he was like, is that you? Like, you don't look the same. What happened? I was like, you're treating me different just because this is a wig, by the way. You're
Yeah.
treating me different because I am dressed different. And instead of having salt and pepper, little tiny hairs, now I have a blonde wig. So they treat you different.
Well, and we talked a little bit about that last week. So when I had my movers here, I didn't have a wig on. I tend to not wear them for the most part.
Yeah.
But for us, for our show, we pop them on. So I had my little brown bob on, and I popped out before we started. I'm like talking to them, and I came back and I realized like he had like a little like, wait, what? Like my hair grew. I was like, oh, okay. It was very curious. And then I
Yeah.
took it off at the end and was like, thank you guys so much because they did such a great job.
Oh, good.
Um,
I'm glad. I'm glad you're moved in.
Thanks. I mean, there's still boxes everywhere, but it was just funny, kind of in that real time moment where he was like, wait, I just saw you. What happened?
Right, right. No,
Yeah.
people like get thrown off. And that tells me also how people focus on the outside, on the
Yeah.
physical versus who you really are. And not everybody, but a lot of people, as humans, we do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I would like to see change. And I feel like maybe in the new paradigm with the new generation that might be changing, not focusing so much on the outside versus, who you really are. Because the outside, as we both know, we can lose it. Like you can lose your hair, your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your breasts. You can lose anything that's physical. And what's left?
Yeah. Well,
Why
yeah.
would that decrease my value as a human? And that's how sometimes
Yeah.
they make you feel like, don't they?
Sure. Yeah, I think our society is built with something like that in mind, where we want to create a hierarchy because it's just
Yeah.
it can be easier to process who's here, who's here, who's here, who's there, and then we know how to interact with them. But that's not. I'm with you. I think we need to deprogram as a society, as a global community, and say we are all human, period.
Yeah.
um, Hopefully it happens in our lifetime. That would be amazing. And I mean, this sort of stuff is, I think, helping. So we're on the way there. But even Grace, you in this journey, your insides came to the forefront. You shared with me, like, now you have a mission, you have a clear vision of your
Yeah.
purpose in life, regardless of the exterior. It's
Right.
this, it's bringing this joy, bringing the message, bringing the love. I mean, you can talk about it. It's your mission.
No, absolutely. You're right. It does. And for you too. And it didn't hit me until, because we have to process a lot, right? Through the journey. And then all of a sudden it hit me like, why am I here? Okay. I know that I'm here to love and help others, but now I know. And it's almost like everything, not almost like everything I do, I keep that as like that's my higher self, like that you're here to love and help others. Don't forget that. And when my ego pops up, it's like, no, I know you and I know what you're capable of and how annoying you can be, ego. So step away. I'm going to keep my higher self in the sense of purpose. And I do a lot of things. So the sense of purpose is not just necessarily, bringing the message and experiences and stories and everything we do here and in other platforms, but it's about anything I do. I teach swimming and everything I do and I tell the kids and everything has that
Yeah.
purpose in mind, so and it's amazing how people react differently when you have that as your leader, because the purpose is the leader and people feel that. And so it's just amazing how I feel a difference where people don't focus so much on the outside like they used to, but more on the inside, like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're
her
leading
energy.
with a baseline of love.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's what they see and they feel, because energy, everybody feels energy whether they admit it or not, right? We see things, and words can be deceptive because anybody can say stuff, right? What we see can be deceptive, like the Kardashians, look at them. They've done so much work for their physical appearance, but if you look at them who they were before, they're completely different. So it's all, it can be enhanced, but the energy doesn't lie.
Mm.
The nose job lies, the fillers lie,
Mm.
but the energy never lies.
Yeah. Well, and I think even like a nose job or fillers could be helping someone
Yeah,
feel more themselves.
yeah,
So energetically, they become more aligned. But I completely agree. Like whether
yeah,
you're living in alignment one way or another,
yeah,
we can tell. We can, like, everyone can tell whether they realize it or not, because energy is, we're all connected. We're all energetically
absolutely.
playing. Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't mean to say don't get a nose
No.
jobs and fillers. No, not at all. But I'm glad you pointed that out because maybe I sounded like that.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
I
mean,
think,
it's whatever you want to do to yourself physically. Listen, I have a new implant,
yeah.
so I'm one to talk. I had to do it, but I mean, I didn't have to, but I did it. I chose to do it because it
Yeah.
made me feel better. So totally, same thing with the nose job, whatever. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is, people sometimes focus on the physical,
Yes.
and the physical can deceive. Even like if I go out, one boob is different than the other one, I can make them look the same. So I'm not deceiving people on purpose, but it's deceitful, but my
But
energy doesn't lie.
if we focus on just the physical and we don't develop that internal self-love, that's
Yeah,
what can create the the pieces of ourselves that ultimately have to be removed surgically. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh my gosh, did I tell you? I had to have two surgeries for my breast, same spot, because when they cut into the first one, they thought they got the margins, but they took it away, did the things, came back and said, we didn't. We actually cut into a second tumor. They only thought I had one, but there was another one hiding right behind it, which is it's such a blessing that they cut into it, because they're like, sorry, we have to go back in. I was like, wait, you didn't get it all? They're like, no, we got all of that one. We just didn't get the other one that we didn't know about because it was hiding.
Wait, was it? Didn't they do an MRI before the surgery?
They did, but they were literally right next to each other. They couldn't tell. Yeah. It was, I don't know. I mean, again, not a doctor. So it was wild. So we went back in, meaning they did it.
Wow.
I got myself on the table. Um, but then they got it
Wow.
out. And and of course the lymph node
Thank,
and everything. But
thank
like,
God. Let me tell you.
miracle,
Thank God. Yeah.
miracle. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. Well, for me, it was first they thought I had a 1.6 with the ultrasound, but then when they did the MRI, they were like, oh, honey, you have like mastectomy because it's like,
Yeah.
so sometimes, yeah, imagine when we didn't have MRIs, right?
Oh my
They
gosh.
wouldn't catch everything, same for both of us. They wouldn't, maybe when they opened, me up too, they would have been like, oh,
Oh no, we got to take more. And yeah, and of course you sign the document. You're like, take it. You don't have to wake me up to get the consent. Just do what you got to do. Get it
I
out.
can do it totally 100%.
Grace, one good news, and friends listening, I had, and I'm just sharing because why not? It's fun. I had my first post, all the things, mammogram, ultrasound, and they all came back clear.
Yay!
So there we
Clear.
go. Clear, clear, clear. I mean, we still got, of course, like humanness, but no,
Yeah,
nothing of note. Which, as my
right?
radiologist said the other day, he's like, boring is good. Boring is good.
No, boring is fantastic. Is fantastic. And I'm going to close on this because we're
Yeah.
31 minutes.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, friends, for tuning in.
yes, absolutely. We have like 10 people, 9 people on X and one on Twitch. And I'm not sure on Instagram because I messed up. It's still streaming on Instagram. So, Instagrammer people, I'm so sorry. I can't see your comment. So, I
Okay,
apologize for that.
watch the
Um,
playback.
yeah, so I had I had some pain on the other breast,
Mhm.
and so I went and had a mammo, an ultrasound. I wasn't scared and I knew it was nothing, but it turned out to be, I can't remember the name, but it's when your breast is like creating fat, like almost like creating another breast. So I was like, oh my god, she's missing the other one. So she's like, I'm gonna make you another boob. I'm there. I'm almost there. It's
This is energy. This is energy. Your breast was making itself a friend energetically.
no, she misses her. I know. I was like, oh my god, so
Aw.
funny. And it's called The Breast Within a Breast. Whatever it starts with an H. I can't remember. But I'm gonna do a whole comedy bit on that because it's hysterical. That it's knitting another breast. It's like I'm gonna make you another one.
I've never heard of that. Oh
Never
my
in my life either. A breast within a breast, and I'll have it next time because I have to go look at my ultrasound report and see what the heck that is. I have no idea.
gosh.
It's
Amazing.
crazy. I know it's crazy with your body. I know there's some kind of metaphysical meaning that she's doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like creating. It's a breast within a breast. What the hell?
She's brilliant. First off, that
Yeah,
you do that. Great job.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I love it. Okay, well, we did it. We did the thing. Everyone was
Yes,
here. Great job, friends. Ask us
yes.
your
Thank
questions,
you.
answer them. Check out our Grace. Do you want to play the commercial? Are we going to do that again? You want to show
Oh
them?
yeah, you're right. Yes, we sell merch at. Let me actually. I didn't put banners. I was so into the. Let's see. That's why I have the State of Grace podcast engineered because it's like when you try to do everything. CancerJoyClub.com. That's our merch website, and 50% goes to a cancer organization. And now during Pride Month, we are donating to LGBTQ plus organizations that help with
Yeah.
cancer patients or survivors. So, okay, so we are going to say goodbye, and our goodbye is going to be the commercial. So you don't have to come back, Jazz. So I'm going
Ah,
to take this
I'm in
out.
school already. Enjoy. I'm going to take this itchy wig off because even though
I
it's
know,
cute,
right? All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, especially the Xers. Thank you so much. And again, sorry, Instagrammers, I could not. I couldn't see I don't know what I did, but
great.
whatever.
You did
It is what it is. All right,
it.
you guys, we will see you next time. We're going to do this once a month now because we're both very busy. So the
Yes.
next one, let me tell you guys before, is going to be on July 25th, and we have a guest for the first time.
Ah,
So awesome.
we're
All
so
right, Jess, stay, please stay because I want to talk to you. And then,
Bye
all
bye,
right, you guys,
time.
awesome. All right, let me play the commercial so you can see what we have, and let's